Writing about intelligence is a complicated business because, of course, it's secret. And trying to get people who live in the secret world to tell you their stories is not always easy. MI6 is a particularly tough nut to crack because, unlike MI5, the Internal Security Service, MI6 does not release its archives, will never release its archives. That's a point of policy, and one that is fairly easy to understand because MI6 argues that if they start to reveal the identities of people that have worked for them in the past, it will be much harder to recruit agents and undercover spies in the future. So there is a clear practical reason why MI6 doesn't do it. On the other hand, there are occasions, and perhaps the story of Oleg Gordievsky is one of them, when the historical importance of a case overrides some of those concerns. So I was extraordinarily lucky in this case. I managed to gain access not only to Oleg Gordievsky, but to a lot of the people involved in this case, and moreover to people in other intelligence agencies. That was one of the things that actually rather astonished me, was that some of the KGB officers who had worked with Oleg Gordievsky in the past were extremely happy to share their reminiscences. Obviously, they have a very different perspective on this kind of story from the West, and that was one of the pleasurable aspects of this, was trying to, as it were, kind of triangulate several different versions of history and try and work out, you know, what was the middle path. And the same was also true of the CIA. The CIA play a very important part in this story because the information that Oleg was producing was so good that it was going all the way to the Oval Office. The problem with that was that MI6 was disguising where it was coming from. It would not tell the CIA who was the source of this information. Now, the CIA likes secrets, but it doesn't really like other people's secrets. And they like to know everything. And so they set up a task force to investigate, to try and find out who the British had as their source. It was an extraordinary investigation. It took them quite a long time. It took a lot of money, but they worked it out. They worked out that Oleg was the British spy. But what they didn't know was that, in fact, they also had a spy in their midst. The head of counterintelligence at the CIA was himself a KGB spy. So you have an extraordinary circle there of the KGB spying on the CIA, spying on MI6, spying on the KGB. And trying to tease that apart was made, well, it was made possible really by the fact that the people involved in each stage of that process were prepared to talk to me about what had happened.